Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
What's something you have to remind yourself every day?
That it is illegal to stab someone for being stupid.
My friend thought he found a whole dinosaur skeleton in his backyard. But it was just a fossil arm.
Reason I can't sleep, number 2117. When you drink alcohol, both you and the alcohol are getting drunk.
I think we need to normalize asking people what the fuck their problem is. In order to empathize, I need to understand the situation at hand. I'm doing too much guessing, too much contemplating about the life I don't know. Things would be better if I could just say to somebody, hey, you're a real asshole. What's that about? Maybe they don't know. Maybe they haven't done the self-reflection. And in turn, I don't get an answer. I simply offend. The good news is, I am willing to take that risk.
Okay, Mom. Why are priests terrible at racing?
At racing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they always come in a little behind.
Oh my God. God, Brian.
Hey, Mom. Why can't lesbians wear makeup while on a diet?
I'm afraid to say I don't know.
Because they can't eat Jenny Craig while Mary Kay's sitting on their face.
Oh my God, Brian. Oh my God.
What's the most reliable part of your body?
My fingers.
Your fingers? Why?
Because I can always count on them.
Mexican word a day. Blueberry. I don't think I'm gonna go for my walk. Last time I did, the wind blew very hard. I lost my sombrero.
Have you heard of the new band called 1023 Megabytes? They are pretty good, but they don't have a gig yet.
Let me ask you something. When you come in on Monday and you're not feeling real well, does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
From Filthy Martini Studios in Ontario, California, it's the Foo Show! Hey, what is up, everyone? I am Josie.
That's Steph.
Thank you all so very much for listening in to the Foo Show. Remember to follow, like, and comment on our socials as at Foo Bar Show. That's FOO Bar Show. And listen at FOOBarshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll keep fooing it up like a bunch of foos. Ain't that right, Steph?
That is right.
Steph, today's going to be a good one. You want to know why?
Why?
Because Superman's cousin is about to save the DC universe. Wolverine is finally getting unleashed with a new game. We accidentally saw one of the best sci-fi movies in years. And in London, there's a serial graffiti artist risking prison to tell the world that he farted during yoga. But before we get into that absurd news story, how you doing? You got a little camera over there, I see. What's going on there?
I did.
No alcohol today? No drink? No dranky drink?
No, you know what? I'm trying to be like a little bit more healthy and not drink as much.
Okay.
I'll try to lose some weight.
All right.
It's too late for the summer body. Summer's is right around the corner. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's in like 2 weeks. So, how's it going?
So, it's going good.
Doing okay? Like with the health kick thing?
Yeah.
What are you doing about it?
I mean, I'm really just like...
You helped me really devour that Detroit-style pizza the other day. So...
What do you want? I want a deep dish pizza like bread, please. extra bread. And a couple martinis.
Yeah, and a couple martinis.
My diet started today.
It just started like 5 minutes ago, as far as I'm concerned. So
you know what? It's got to start sometime.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I like. I don't know. I'm just like a little too jiggly for my liking.
Okay. Because
I have a really athletic build, and I just kind of let myself go a little bit because I got a little lazy. And
don't we all?
yeah, and here we are, trying to be a little bit more health conscious, and such.
By the way, for those in the Ontario area and you're looking for a decent style, Detroit style deep dish pizza, there's this spot nearby called Pizza and Such. And it has pizza and such.
I didn't think it was a real place.
No, me either. Until we ordered something from it, which was that pizza, and it was really good. My favorite part about that pizza, aside from the crunchy crust, was they drizzled some honey onto it.
Oh yeah.
So it was what was sweet and savory.
The name of the pizza, like
Be Nice, I believe.
Be Nice.
Something like that.
It was delicious. And it was like nice and light.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel heavy.
Right. It was good. It was really good.
Yes.
There's another award-winning pizza joint around, like in the Upland area, not far from us too. That's also a whiskey bar, so you can enjoy your whiskey and like some like authentic, really good tasting pizza. Mm-hmm. They don't call it a pub; they call it like a public place. I forget it, but it's supposed to be like a pub, like a fancy way of saying pub.
Yeah,
but it's a whiskey pub.
Can you take a whiskey drink?
You can take a vodka drink.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Steph.
Yes.
You had a camera there. You wanted to talk about it?
Yeah. You know what? I had thought, like, I forgot all about this because this camera's so small. So it's one of those little Kodak keychain digital camera.
Yeah.
It was a birthday gift last month from one of my friends, and it is, it's literally keychain size. There's a little micro SD card that's in here. That I can
Does it say how many pixels it takes?
I have no idea.
All right.
So
it's very low. It looks like the cameras back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean it's got like the traditional lens that you can peek out of, but that's not exactly where you're capturing. It still has that digital screen.
Yeah.
Where you can point and shoot.
Right.
There's no flip to it, so it's not like you can reverse it and then take a selfie from the other side.
No, you got to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah,
you got to point it towards you and hope for the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's charged by a C-ring cable and
USB-C. You mean?
USB-C. Isn't it called C-ring? It's also called C-ring.
I've never heard it called that before in my entire life. Am I wrong for that?
I thought it was a C-ring or USB-C. But then, the nickname is C-ring?
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway, how much?
Let's take some calls.
Somebody get Donnie on the line.
Yeah, well,
it's really nice. It's a little pocket size. Comes in different colors. There's, a whole style of them. You can get the kit, or you can get the camera by itself. I just have the camera by itself. I don't put it on my keychain. Just because I don't want to lose it, so it's just kind of in the backpack.
You're really selling it.
It's a nice show. It's a nice show and tell piece. Look at that; it fits in the palm of your hand. It's little. It's so lightweight.
Do you think you'll ever get these pictures developed? Nah.
Oh well, I don't. Well, maybe if I go out and about and I take some nice pictures because it can still take some quality pictures. Oh, and another thing is that with this camera, it gives you an option. So when you put it. When you transfer it over, it gives you an option to put a border on it, so you can have the Kodak border.
Yeah.
Or I think there's 3-4 different ones that you can choose from. So yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice little point and shoot camera.
Yeah. You don't see many of those anymore.
You don't. Yeah.
At all.
The Polaroid started to come back in fashion a couple years ago, and they're still around.
That's true. And they even give you a little printer now.
Disposal, yes. You can get a printer now.
Or it's just old Polaroids.
No, I'm talking about the Polaroids.
Yeah, the machine, right? The
No.
picture.
The actual you got to shake it.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It comes with a built-in printer, of course, like the original Polaroids did. I don't know why you're disagreeing right now. Like that's exactly what it is.
I don't think it's called a printer. That's in the entire camera. It's not like you. That's an attachment. That's the camera. It's not a printer.
The developer.
That's the point of the That's the point.
I don't know why you're getting so upset.
Can somebody write back with like the anatomy of the Kodak Polaroid?
Why don't you call in? We're taking calls.
Yeah, we're taking calls.
Cool, Steph.
Yeah, thanks for being excited about this camera.
I was until you got mad at me. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you were just like, oh, I'm over it now.
How many pictures have you taken with it?
I've taken like 5 pictures with it.
One of them was a selfie, I take it?
It was just a minute ago, and now I can't see. I think the battery died because it's not turning on again.
Right. Right on. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Steph, I'm just gonna go into this the thing, the absurd news story that we do weekly here.
Oh, is that what we're doing now?
So shut up. London police are investigating a mystery graffiti artist who has repeatedly tagged walls with the phrase "I farted in yoga," or at least you can maybe read it as "I fart 3D in yoga" because the E in farted is like backwards.
Wait, how do you fart in yoga? Is yoga like a text?
No, like in yoga class. What are you talking about? A text? Like papyrus? Is that what you're saying?
I farted in papyrus?
You know, if it was a font,
because he's just
that'd be another layer.
What is it like? He graffitis it. I farted in yoga, so it's like yoga the text.
The vandal has become a minor internet celebrity after CCTV footage captured him spray painting the phrase around the city alongside crude cartoon drawings. Authorities have reportedly linked multiple incidents across London. The bizarre thing, the artist isn't pushing a political message. It doesn't appear to be any social cause, no activism, no manifesto, no deeper meaning, just I farted in yoga. The message has appeared throughout several London neighborhoods and has become a genuine police investigation. So this might be like the dumbest Banksy copycat in human history.
This is just one fart joke.
But that's exactly why people love it.
Pass win? Nah, he farted.
You know, the funniest part about this, Steph, I think, is that somebody in a London yoga class knows exactly who the hell this guy is.
Guess what? You're international news now, buddy.
Yep. So let's see here. If you became a graffiti legend, what ridiculous phrase would you tag everywhere, Steph?
What ridiculous phrase would I tag everywhere?
Yes.
I don't know. What would you tag?
I would probably tag some Simpsons reference like cromulent or something.
Uh-huh. Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I would tag anything.
All right.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
Lame.
I know. Oh, okay.
Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, Steph. So there you have it. Did you want to get into geeking now? We have a few things we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out! Check it out! Check it out! Check it out!
All right. The first thing I wanted to open with is why did nobody tell us that Project Hail Mary was as good as it was?
Oh, I could have told you that.
We just saw it, and I think it's a very good movie. You kept calling it a very cute movie.
Oh my God, it was adorable.
Yeah.
And it was, I like Ryan Gosling because he's funny.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
He's funny, but serious at the same time. It's just like a perfect blend.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best sci-fi flick that I've seen in a while. Probably the one before that was like as exciting or giving you those feels was Interstellar. No?
Yes, with that whole time component though, because that's what Christopher Nolan likes to do.
For sure.
With the time.
Yeah.
I felt that you really didn't need to think about this movie.
No, it guided you all throughout.
Yeah, it definitely held your hand, but that was why it was so good. You didn't have to think about anything. Just, go along for the ride. Enjoy the movie.
A lot of suspense. A lot of really like, I don't want to call it like soft suspense, but there's these times where you're just like hoping that everything turns out okay.
Yeah, I sat forward in my seat.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's going to happen?
Right. So, for those who haven't seen it, I recommend it. So there you have it. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. What do you think?
9.5 out of 10? 10.
You straight up 10?
Just straight up 10.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You loved it.
It's definitely there.
Yeah.
My top sci-fi movies.
Weeks or months later, we are now talking about this movie. So.
Well, it came out, I think, last month, right?
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I think it came out in May.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Finally got around to it.
The other thing coming out real soon here is Supergirl. We talked about it a little bit last week. DC released new footage and promotional materials for Supergirl ahead of its 2027 release. The movie stars Millie Alcock as Supergirl, directed by Craig Gillespie. It adapts elements of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which is, to many comic fans, considered one of the best Supergirl stories ever written. So that's promising, considering, it looks like DC finally figured out that Supergirl is more interesting when she's just not female Superman. Like, she's definitely her own character, grew up in a different world than Kal-El, saw Krypton crumble and die, and pretty much had to raise herself.
Well, I do appreciate that James Gunn is, behind the scenes with this one and can actually take care of the characters.
Yes.
Like we have seen him do in the past. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. Early reactions to this reportedly embraces... It says that the movie embraces the tone of that Women of Tomorrow comic book. So, yeah. There you have it. So I'm excited for that. And then we wanted to talk about Summer Game Fest 2026 that was just happening. It happened this weekend, and it delivered new trailers, major game announcements, surprise reveals. The event has essentially become a replacement for E3.
Yeah, pretty much. The Game Fest is become more popular these days.
And I would argue, what do you think about the comment that some people are saying that E3 is practically dead at this point?
I haven't heard anybody talk about E3 in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, E3 is still around, and I think we did cover it last year, a couple years ago, or we briefly mentioned it.
Yeah. It was just super brief, though. Like, we didn't go into any kind of like elaborate thing, because that's the whole thing with when PlayStation and Xbox pulled out of being involved in E3.
Yeah.
That was kind of the whole thing that killed them, and then COVID hit, and that just kind of scrambled things around. But Summer Game Fest won, I think, or at least has one favor, was because it stopped pretending that gamers needed a trade show, and they started giving them more spectacle.
You know what? That's the reason why I haven't heard of E3, and I'm going to interrupt you right now. Is because it ended in 2021.
Well, dog my cats.
I'm just like, E3, what does that sound so familiar, but yet so long ago? Because it was.
So 5 years ago.
It held its final iteration virtually in 2021.
Okay. Well, here's a cool replacement, because it looks like they know what they're doing.
Yes, Game Fest.
They're really getting people excited for it. And, it helps that the game console wars are essentially over, and now we can just focus on playing good games rather than taking a side and then being excluded from playing other games if you only have one type of console.
Yeah, it's all going streaming at this point.
Yeah, you're doing it on the computer that you're on right now.
Yeah,
with your Steam.
Steam's where it's at.
And then you hook up your PlayStation 4 controller to it through Bluetooth, and you're good to go.
Yep. Yeah, still compatible with a lot of games.
Yep.
So Game Fest ended up being this weekend, in person and live stream from the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. So we were busy this weekend, so that's why we couldn't, really do like some live coverage or anything like that. But one of the biggest responses of one of the games that was talked about at Game Fest was for Resident Evil Veronica. People, the internet was going crazy over this game. Number one, we love Resident Evil. Number two, Veronica, aka Resident Evil Code Veronica, was one of the most well-loved games back then. And so it follows Claire Redfield, which is the sister of Chris Redfield, which is one of the iconic legendary male figures in Resident Evil, aside from Leon S. Kennedy.
Okay.
My guy.
Right. Shaboy.
So it follows her through this game and is coming out in 2027. So we had the trailer for it. You can find it online.
You know which trailer really caught me off guard, but it made me so happy? Was The Last Ronin.
The Last Ronin.
So, a few months ago, we were talking about how they canceled the idea of this becoming a movie, which I was very much looking forward to, because if they would have moved forward with that movie idea, it looks like they were going to try to get the original actress who played April in that 1990 movie.
Ooh, yeah.
As just an older April, because that's what, The Last Ronin has in it. So, and it was also supposed to be like a sequel, a direct sequel from the first one, and just asking people to ignore the Secret of the Ooze and Turtles in Time.
I like The Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
We talked about this.
Yeah. And if you do it as a video game, I think it could be way truer to the comic book than anything else. I mean, they might take some liberties, but hopefully it's for enhancement purposes and not just because for the sake of doing something different.
Yeah, I think you can definitely get a lot out of a video game.
Do you think it should be like a focused narrative or an open world?
No, I don't think it should be open world.
Focused narrative?
Yeah, nothing,
all right.
Nothing like too crazy, like an extensive RPG where you're going to lock in like 100+ hours. I don't think you need no leveling up, things like that. There probably is going to be some element to that just because it's gameplay. But
you have it right there though in front of you. Does it say when it comes out?
It is coming. I don't know.
It doesn't say right there.
No.
You want to scroll down a bit?
No, it just
goes on to the next one.
IGN.
I'm sorry I asked.
IGN doesn't really give me anything, and now I can't pause this. I don't even know what's going on.
Okay. Are you typing it in?
Last Ronin game release.
We're doing a podcast.
Yeah. This was no release date.
Oh, all right. Well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're the one who asked me about it, and then I was trying to look it up for you, and then now you're getting mad because I was finding the answer for you.
Wow.
I'll give you a red card. Red flag.
What the fuck? You gonna watch the World Cup?
We're moving on to the World Cup?
No, I'm just asking because you the whole red card thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple more games. Shut up. See how it is? See how it is? You don't like it, huh?
I haven't said anything.
Star Wars Zero Company.
So mean.
It's also due. It has a release date August 27th of this year. Anakin Skywalker is in the game. It's a turn-based strategy affair game. Other mentions: Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance. There's a Hot Wheels Infinite Rush for the kiddos.
Wolverine.
Yes, there's going to be Wolverine.
Wolverine. That gameplay looks amazing. It's like they came out with like new footage reportedly expected soon following Summer Game Fest and Xbox announcements. It's one of the most anticipated superhero games currently in development. It's the same studio that previously made Marvel Spider-Man 2, which, it had tons of acrobatics. It was very true to how gravity is supposed to behave. considered one of the better games that have come out in recent history. The gameplay for Wolverine is super intense, like really bloody. Like, he's killing people, and it's fucking sick.
Yeah, we saw the extended gameplay on YouTube the other day, or I think it was yesterday, and it was intense. And I cannot wait to play this game. I think it's coming out later this year.
Can't imagine it was easy to develop, to make sure that they got the character as right as possible, you know? And I think that if they hit that mark, it's going to get good reactions. So just based on that gameplay alone, if you guys can go online and check it out, I'm sure IGN has already posted something about it, like a 2-minute clip or something, but it's super worth it. So yeah, what else?
Real quick, the last couple mentions: Street Fighter 6 Year 4 DLC characters.
It has Tifa in it?
Tifa, Botch, Arjun, and Yasmin. You can all download them and play Street Fighter 6 Year 4. Not only that, the Final Fantasy VII Revelation official trailer dropped, which is coming out. The game's coming out spring 2027. I cannot wait. That finally wraps up the Final Fantasy VII trilogy and the battle that made us all cry when we were kids between the team and Sephiroth.
Well, there you have it.
Many other games announced. We're not going to go through all of them.
Attack on Titan is one of them.
Attack on Titan 3.
Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be... you can play through the entire storyline for the first time. The trailer's out now. It's currently in development for PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series, PC, and Steam.
I also read this somewhere, is that they're developing a Captain America / Black Panther game that's supposed to be taking place in 1943, and it's called Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. The recent previews continue to generate buzz because it has a World War II setting. Captain America and Black Panther team up, and it's not going to be like the T'Challa, who we know. It's going to be his dad, I imagine. And then Unreal Engine 5 visuals are going to be going on while you play with this. So it's going to be super smooth. I think it's a smart move in Marvel's part because they're putting superheroes in genres that they don't normally belong in, like World War II. Even though we saw it in that first Captain America, that's kind of like where he comes from. But then that's all we see in future, movies that he's in. They don't talk about the World War II thing anymore.
Right.
So putting him back in that space, I think is going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, you should. It's just another platform for fans of Marvel to actually experience a different storyline.
Yeah.
So that is it for me. Check it out, IGN, or your favorite gaming website.
All right.
Nerd!
Steph?
Yes.
Today I think is going to be a bit of a short episode. I only got a couple. What the fuck?
That's what you sounded like. My voice is cracking.
Damn it. You want to do here's what I would do?
Man, see, like, you don't even know, man. It's like you're born into this world, man. And you got it's like this, man, the dust and the wind, man. Or like the dang old candle in the wind, man. It don't matter, man. It's all the oldies, old time. You know what I think, man? Like that dang old, I think, therefore you are, man.
Well, that's what we tell ourselves, isn't it, Boomhauer?
All right. Well, everybody, welcome here to Here's What I Would Do, the segment where your drama becomes our delight. Send us your dilemmas, disasters, dirty laundry, or dating debacles to foobarshow@gmail.com, and we will tell you what we would do. We're not therapists. We just have microphones. So the first one here is Jason in Fontana, Steph. The subject on his email reads, "My neighbor has started a rooster-based alarm clock system." Says, "Hey, Joe and Steph, I'm writing from Fontana and I need help because I don't think anyone prepared me for this possibility. A few months ago, my neighbor got chickens. Cool. Fresh eggs. Sustainable living. I support it. Then he got a rooster. This thing starts screaming at 5:15 every morning like it's personally offended that the sun isn't up yet. I've looked into city ordinances, noise regulations, and possibly medieval curses. The weirdest part is that my neighbor loves it. He told me, "You don't need an alarm clock anymore." "Sir, I never asked for a bird subscription," he says. My wife thinks I should just get used to it. I think if I hear one more rooster cry before sunrise, I'm going to start responding in kind from my backyard. What's the appropriate way to handle this before I become the crazy neighbor? Jason in Fontana. What do you think, Steph? Have you ever grown up in a neighborhood where they had a rooster?
Our neighbor has a rooster, and I don't hear it.
At least it doesn't wake me up. He's not very loud.
Well,
but I've grown up like in La Puente where there's like chickens in the street.
Yeah.
And there's a rooster about.
Yeah,
and
it
could get pretty annoying. I understand where this guy's coming from.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking of like our neighbor has a rooster, which means he has chickens. Because you just don't have a rooster.
Right.
Without chickens. But honestly, I've heard that thing maybe a couple times because like at 6:15 or 6:45, whatever in the morning, I'm like knocked out. Like I think it starts waking up when the sun does. So like right around like maybe 5:30 over here, that's when the sun starts coming up. But I don't know. I'm so like I'm in my room, like I can't hear it, and it's like it's the neighbor in the back too.
Yeah.
But I don't hear it.
You know what this reminds me of is that Kevin and Bean story where, for those who listen to Kevin and Bean from a few years ago, there was this time where Bean lived on a farm in Seattle and his next door neighbor had a rooster, and the same kind of scenario that Jason's discussing here. And he got the courage to tell the neighbor, "Hey, it's kind of bothersome. Is anything that you can do, to take care of it?" And the neighbor said, "Yeah, no problem. We'll take care of it." And then the next time he sees the neighbor, it's already been like a week that goes by. He notices that there's no more like rooster cock-a-doodle-doing all throughout the morning. And he asks the neighbor, he's like, "Hey, you took care of that pretty well. How did you train it, or like what did you do to make it stop?" He's like, "Oh, we took care of it."
Oh.
They killed the rooster and then he's just like, "That is not what I wanted to happen at all." But I'm not saying Jason to go off this rooster, but I think that, what I would do is exactly what Bean did in this story, where he just went to go talk to the neighbor and say, "Hey, I know that you're into it. I know that you think that you don't need an alarm clock anymore, but it's kind of not vibing with me. Is there anything that you can do?" And then whatever he ends up doing is kind of like on him. But as long as you get some results, I would hope.
I mean, yeah, if it was really bothering me, I would talk to the neighbor. Just be like, "Hey, I'm probably not the only one, but I'm the only one telling you right now." So that's what I would do. But honestly, like for me, even like the next door neighbor's rooster, honestly, now that I think about it, I haven't heard it in a while.
Probably took care of it.
Maybe. Or one of the cats probably got to it.
Oh, that's true. There's plenty of street cats here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we own a cat, but we don't own a cat. There's just cats everywhere. I see a cat almost once every day.
Yeah. They're coming around a lot more often.
Yeah.
Especially in the summertime.
They're breeding.
Apparently, one of our neighbors was telling us that, like, this whole area was just cats at one point. And then they were, like, taking over the street. Like, they had to start catching them.
Wow.
Like
Who's the cat's natural predator? Did they have to get some coyotes?
I don't know. They're way faster than a coyote.
Yeah, but a coyote would eat one if it had the chance.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's a cat's natural predator?
Bigger cats?
Bigger cats?
I don't know. I mean, they fight with each other all the time.
Other cats.
Other cats.
Yeah.
I mean, we hear them in our, like, right here in our garbage can. Oh my God. Just fighting on top of the garbage can.
I have cat prints all over my car. They just like go up the car, beep, 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 beep. And then they just jump the fence and then they just hang out next to the trash can. Like, I don't know. They're just cats.
Steph, we got this second email from Chris and Murrieta. The subject reads, "My friends keep treating my house like a public venue. Hey, Foos, I think I made a mistake a few years ago and now I'm paying for it. I live in Marietta and my house became the hangout spot because I have a decent backyard, a grill, and enough parking that nobody has to circle the block for about 20 minutes. At first, it was great. People would text and ask if I wanted to host something. Now I get messages like, hey, what time are we all meeting at your place on Saturday? Excuse me, he says. Apparently, plans have evolved to the point where my participation is optional. Last month, I found out about a gathering at my own house through a group chat. Someone else invited people. Someone else picked the time. The only thing left for me to do was unlock the gate. I love my friends, but I feel my property has become a franchise location. How do I reclaim my home without sounding like a grumpy old man? Chris in Marietta." That's an interesting scenario.
Without sounding like a grumpy old man?
Yeah, because you can come off that way, but at the end, it's just like it's your home. You have your things in there.
You know what?
Your space.
What I would do is just move.
No, I don't. That's what you would do, Steph? You would move?
First of all, Marietta.
Oh, okay. I see where you're coming from now. Talking a lot of shit over there.
I'm just kidding. I've never been there.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just move.
All right.
That's just like
you would do.
Yeah.
I
mean, this just sounds like another Bean situation where a bunch of people went to his house, right?
Yeah. And then he acted like a grumpy old man.
But because somebody told them to be there.
Right.
And it was one of those things where it was a safety issue. Like, hey, I have all these people that are coming to my house. I don't feel safe. And then he had to move.
He did move. He did do that.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, Chris. Just talk to your folks. Just talk to your friends. Just let them know, hey,
are you giving advice or is that what you would do?
That's what I would do.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Steph, you want to get out of here?
You know what the cat's most natural predator is?
What?
It's a dog.
Oh.
It's a dog.
Here, let me. Oh no, I don't have it. Sorry.
Yeah. And other cats.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess that's it.
That is it.
Man, see, like, you don't even know, man. It's like you're born into this world, man. And you got it's like this, man, the dust and the wind, man. Or like the dang old candle in the wind, man. It don't matter, man. It's all the oldies, old time. You know what I think, man? Like them dang old, I think, therefore you are, man.
Well, that's what we tell ourselves, isn't it, Boomhauer?
All right, Steph. Well, I think that's going to do it for another episode. What do you think?
That is it. That's short and sweet.
Gonna try to get one in for next week as well. One thing I'm excited about is on Saturday of next week, we're gonna go see Sparta open up for Local H, who's opening up for Toadies, who have a new album coming out.
Yeah.
I think all three of them have had some material that just recently came out. The Sparta music sounds really good, so I do want to get there when doors open so that we can catch Sparta. I think they're going on first.
For sure.
Yeah, I think doors open at 6. First band goes on at 7.
Oh man, we'll do it.
So make sure you get home or that you're home.
We'll be here.
Yeah, right on. Cool. Well, everybody, thank you all so much for listening into the Foo Bar Show. Remember to follow, like, and comment on our socials as @FooBar Show. That's FOO Bar Show. And listen at FOOBarshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll keep filling it up like a bunch of foos. I've been Josie.
That's Steph.
Signing off saying, don't be a dick.
Fuck, man. Thank you, guys.
Did y'all know that New York and Minnesota are opposites? Yeah. New York, that's where the Big Apple is. And Minnesota, well, that's where the mini apple